Hey everyone, Blacksland Ridge 3 here. I figured it was about time I got around to doing this, so today I'll be doing a review on Bachmann's New Tooling 440, specifically my model of Jupiter. I'll also compare the new model with my older model of Jupiter, and go over the modifications I have made. So without further ado, let's get started. If you're like me, and have had Bachmann's previous 440s, then right out of the box, you'll notice improvements. From the counterweights on the drivers to the coupler on the cowcatcher, the new Tooling 440 is a vast improvement from the old Tooling 440 that had been in the line for almost 40 years. Now here is a side-by-side comparison of the new Tooling Jupiter and the old Tooling Jupiter. Please keep in mind I have made numerous modifications to both locomotives, although more so on the old Jupiter, as I have had it for almost 4 years. The tender of my old Jupiter is also currently, indisposed, so I won't be able to compare the tenders or running qualities. The first thing you may notice is the lack of a drive shaft from the tender to the locomotive on the new Tooling Jupiter. With the new technology for new smaller can motors, the unsightly drive shaft no longer plagues this beautiful model. And while its main source of electrical pickup is still the tender, the entire mechanism is in the engine. Continuing with the chassis, the new Tooling Jupiter finally has counterweights on the drivers. This not only is an essential part on the prototype that was absent on the old model, but it just looks a heck of a lot nicer, especially when in motion. The crossheads and guides have also been redesigned to look less chunky. I have painted the guides on both models silver. They are black on a stock model. The cowcatcher, of course, has been redesigned as well. The cowcatcher on the new model is much higher off the tracks than the old one, and now features a coupler, so you can properly push and pull trains in reverse. A stock model comes equipped with 2 easy-made couplers front and rear, but I have changed them out for KD couplers and centering springs. Moving upwards towards the boiler, the grab irons from the smoke box to the cowcatcher look much better than on the old model. The smoke box front has also been redesigned and is now much more conical. The number plate is also a bit smaller and looks less ragged than the number plate on the old model. The headlight is also bigger, which is a big improvement in itself that it now actually functions properly. The old Jupiter's headlight would constantly flicker when going down the track. The new headlight is equipped with a prototypical yellow-white LED. Behind it, the smokestack has been changed as well. It no longer has the strange gold metal spark arrestor and is now all plastic. Some have complained about this, but I don't mind it. Moving down the boiler, the bell has been redesigned to look more period appropriate, and the bell itself is smaller. The domes, as well as the blue color itself, has a much nicer color and sheen than the older model. The gold color of the steam dome also looks much nicer and shinier compared to the duller gold color of the old model. The cab is another one of those big improvements. Not only is detail crisper in general, but the massive useless weight is finally gone. You can now see through the cab, and there is proper window glazing. I'll move the old Jupiter out of the way as we move on to the tender. As I stated, the tender colors, especially the Jupiter lettering, really pops with that glossy sheen. The tender hasn't changed all that much aside from the wood load. The wood load on the old Jupiter has thankfully been replaced with a very convincing molded wood load. Of course, I have painted the wood in mine some different shades of brown. My brake wheel also fell off and I neglected to glue it back on. A stock model comes with the brake wheel attached to the brake staff. As on the Pilot, I have changed out the easy-made coupler for a KD. Cons. The stupid builder's plate is unfortunately still present. I had removed this from my old model, and while it is a nice detail, it is unnecessary and not on the prototype. Con. Smokebox front looks a bit too conical to me. Con. Cowcatcher is a bit too high off the rails. Con. Tender electrical pickup is still crap. It's much better, but still crap. Con. Tender wheels are still small. At least this time around there is more wheel than flange, but they are still small. Con. The boiler is silver and not a dark silver gunmetal Russia iron color. Alright, time for the fun part, the modifications I have made. These new 440s are apparently very popular in terms of customization. There are also a large variety of parts on shapeways to really change up the look. I have made very simple modifications. I used a gold Sharpie to color in the headlight supports, which were previously black. As I stated earlier, I used a silver Sharpie to color the crosshead guides. I painted the logs in different colors, I painted the tender wheels red, and I added KD couplers. I do plan on improving the tender's electrical pickups. I found a nice article online on how to improve them. I will put the link in the description. I also may change the silver color of the boiler to the appropriate gunmetal Russia iron finish. I'll either use paint or a dark ink wash. I may also add the air compressor thing that is on the prototype. Now for some trivia. The New Tooling 440 is actually based off Baldwin's 440, which is the Reno and Genoa. What's interesting is that they don't actually produce a Reno or a Genoa. I think they would sell well as the two locomotives in question are operational. Well, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for more. See ya.